dealer continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome in. Don't Punt Hour. Harrison runs on the ones and twos. Good morning, Pierson-El streaming in, the former Husker wide receiver, special teams threat. You guys can join in 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. As always, you can put a face to the voice. Facebook, YouTube, X, Al Channel 961. Good morning, Pierson-El. Let's go ahead and bring him in. How's it going on a Thursday night?
Real well.
I lost you a little bit there. Sorry, I didn't quite catch it all.
Headphone came out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still a little crackly sometimes, but I can hear you.
I think.
All right, well, try it one more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it connected to my headphone. That's all it was. One day closer to Friday, so excited about that part.
Yeah, absolutely. And weather's not too bad. I see a million FFA members walking around the streets of Lincoln. It's that time of year. Always reminded well by just the amount of swarms there are. But we're going to talk a little bit Husker hoops here, as they did get a much needed win yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about the college basketball crown as well, and just its prizes. How worth it is it? And we'll stick with college basketball. And I think this is, maybe we'll start here because there isn't a whole lot on it. But Tom Izzo some rumors that he might be on the way out the door of Michigan State. They were thinking maybe he'd have 2 years, but might be done after this season. That was a team that was number 2 in their division in March Madness. That was solid, but you saw, I know at least 3 pretty notable players already hit the transfer portal, and the speculation is that Tom Izzo, that's the reason why.
Is he fired or is he just retiring? Like,
He'll be retiring, I think.
Okay.
It wouldn't fire him.
I mean, it was a heck of a run, a magical season. You know, I mean, he's a legendary coach. You would be sad to see him go, but I mean, what's necessarily left for him to do? He didn't done it all. Would you say?
Yeah, it's just gonna suck to see Tom Izzo out. Great college basketball coach. He's like always one of those coaches had a ton of respect for. But I don't blame him. Like you said, even if it wasn't because of NIL, like what else do you really want to go and achieve? Like he's going to go down as one of the best coaches the college basketball scene. But if it is because of the NIL, that kind of sucks that we're losing another year of Tom Izzo because it's just, Michigan was a really good season for him. They made it pretty deep in March Madness. And then as soon as they get eliminated, you got a bunch of key players hitting the portal on you. And I just imagine for a lot of coaches, especially the ones that have accomplished a lot already, they don't want to stick around for that and have to learn how to redo everything. So, like I said, this is not official. Tom Izzo might still coach, but circulating.
It retired Nick Saban. You know what I mean? So I mean, again, it's one of many dominoes that sadly that we're gonna see, and until they fix it to where it, and I'm not saying capping things and everything like that, but have it to where it's not the way it is, and it's not because it's making their job a nightmare.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's making their job unnecessarily. What it is bringing the ugly out of people, and it's overlooking what going to college is kind of supposed to be about, outside of going to get a degree and everything like that. But bettering yourself to at the next level to maybe create get to accomplish your aspirations of playing at the highest level while doing things. And it's different with basketball because they can be there for a year and go to the league. Football, you got to stay put for a little while. Women's basketball, you got to be there for 4 years before you can go and everything like that. But it's making it a circuit, an unnecessary circus with just the NIL. Like I said, I'm glad that players are getting paid, but it has to, the systems of how things are run has to be fixed sooner than later, because you're going to have some great people walk away from the game, from coaching, because it's just too much. It's going to bring the ugly out of people.
Yeah, and then the new ones like the Will Wade's that was down there at McNeese, he has a good year. He's gone. he's going up a level.
I mean, that's not. I'm not mad at that.
I'm just saying
it's an opportunity to leave. Like I'm not. More power to you.
It's my only point in that. It's like I don't think the coach is wrong for doing it. Even the players are wrong for doing it. But yeah, there's just so much movement now in college basketball that if you want any sort of continuity, you need a lot of money to keep guys around. And I think I'll ask you this, since we talked a little bit on the other side before we get to Nebraska basketball. Like, you got all 1 seeds in there this year. NIL is certainly becoming a more prominent role as we add on the years here. Do you think like this is just going to be kind of what we see more often than not now with schools like Duke, schools like Houston, even a school like Purdue, the basketball schools, just constantly finding their ways at number 1 seeds because they just got the money to pay for these players?
I mean, I don't think it's all necessarily about money. I mean, Houston team is a lot of people that were on that team last year. So is that Houston's fault for retaining people and people, deciding to come back and do things? No. I think money will play a piece in it. But, I mean, ultimately, style of play, because people are going to go play for Calipari just because of who he is and what he can do. The money situation, he'll handle that to a certain extent and everything like that. But that's not – you're not going –
out of all the 10 seeds, Arkansas was the 10 seed with the most money. And they also made it the furthest out of all the double digits.
But I mean, he transferred there, and I mean, he took a few players with him that followed him from Kentucky, and made something that of the guys that were there. He didn't necessarily go into the transfer. He didn't do a Dion and dump the whole team in there. You know what I'm saying? So,
But I think Arkansas had money, to get those, not only get the coach, but also those players. Like, you have to have some money available. Like, I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just going to be really hard.
I mean, I don't think so. People are going to have options to go play. If you are the best player or a hot commodity and whatnot, multiple teams are going to go after you and whatnot. The thing about basketball is there's a lot of players at lower level divisions and whatnot, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be about money all the time. Now, will it stronghold a lot of the stuff? Yes. But what happens to some of those teams where maybe, it may be too many people, on the team or whatnot, or you have some of these programs that have a bunch of 4 and 5 stars that, want to leave and whatnot and go to other universities for better playing time or more situations where they feel like, so I don't think it's going to be money dominated. Because you're going to have to recruit. You're still going to have guys that fit your system. You're still going to have guys that leave early. You're still going to have guys that transfer out and other circumstances outside of money. Like, money is a big piece of it, but I don't think it's going to be the main factor on why people go there or whatnot. You could be the number one player in our nation, and you want to play for this coach or that coach, and they'll build around you.
Yeah, I mean, well, to your point, like, we'll wait and see. I'm not willing to
was Michigan State playing people, out of that? No, you had a group that stuck together that was binding together regardless. Could players left to go to other places and everything like that? Yes, absolutely, but they chose necessarily not to.
But then they did.
Huh?
But now they did. Like, now they are leaving. So that window is
is
small.
Is that their fault though? If their coach is out of there, like, you can't say that the narrative.
Well, the coach is still there though. The problem is like the reason why the speculation is he's leaving is because guys are hitting the portal the way they are. But he's still the coach today.
So then you have to wait till that fully unwraps before you can make that statement about Michigan State. You just said he was retiring and people are potentially leaving.
No, I said he is potentially retiring. It's circulating, but he is still the coach right now. But guys have hit the portal. At least 3 prominent players have hit the portal. But Tom Izzo today is still the Michigan State head coach. But there is speculation that he is about to possibly retire, and we'll find out probably within a month if that's true or not. But I wouldn't be surprised by it.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if, kids hopping in the portal because your coach is no longer going to be there. We don't know necessarily, but with him telling them that and everything like that, I mean, they would possibly know better, but I can't make that determination right now.
Yeah, and that's fair. I just think it is going to be much harder than ever for these schools that are in the process of building up a decent basketball program to ever really reach that goal of being a consistent basketball school. You can't have it. You're going to have years where these upsets still happen. But Duke is focused on paying NIL around their basketball program. North Carolina, even though it's not great,
but Duke can pay people. That's one thing, but it's also Duke. Like, it's also a premier school for basketball, so that alone, has its own entirety thing. It'd be different if you would have said somewhere like Syracuse, maybe someone like Virginia Tech, someone like Illinois. Necessarily or Maryland. Like, Duke is a blue blood. Like, that's like, kids wake up nowadays dreaming of going to Duke. You know what I'm saying? They hear those rivalries, with North Carolina. North Carolina is like that too. There are certain schools that, like, the money is one thing, but also the actual name of the university, what it is, the tradition, the players that have gone there and gone on to the next level will kind of carry that flag. Either in the same capacity as having the money, and the money is just, adding, more beneficial. But a flag could have went to anywhere. He could have went to Arkansas. He could have went to Alabama and say, how Nelson is playing. Like, I kind of want to do like that. But he chose Duke, 1, because of opportunity, 2, because of Duke. Duke is what it is outside of that. And then, the money's on it. So I wouldn't necessarily say that with some of these juggernaut schools because they've already established like who they are. You don't go there not to not play basketball. You know what I mean? Duke ain't a football school.
Yeah.
You don't hear people going there just for it. No, why it's the same thing of why people go to Georgia. Because Georgia's putting people in the league, for football, regardless of getting paid or not. They know they're gonna win a lot. They know they're gonna be on a pedestal to get to the next level, to be around to what it is, and regardless of how hard the situation is. So Duke is one of those schools to where, like, you can't just say, oh, but they were going to be paying everybody else. Even if Duke wasn't necessarily paying people as good and everything like that, they still could probably pool people and whatnot. They could probably put something together from, their alumni, boomer, from that side of things, or, something. There's ways they can get money, but I don't think, especially with schools like Duke, the basketball schools, the Kansas, the, North Carolina, Houston is starting to kind of be like that. Kentucky was like that when Calipari was there. We'll see how it sticks like that. Those schools, Michigan State, if Izzo is there, you know what you're walking into. That places like that can elevate you to get to where you want to be, and not just for a year or 2 or 4 years in school.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. I use Duke as an example for the exact reason that they are a basketball school, and like the money in NAL is main focus is going to be, let's make sure we have a good basketball team this year. We have enough money in the bank for that. Some of the other schools, like, if they got money, they'll be able to compete. I just think it's going to be really hard to maintain success through years, and we're just going to see, in my opinion, teams like Duke just kind of year in, year out, maybe not going as a 1 seed, but just constantly just kind of back to where they were, and not so much nuance in the lower seeds. To me, it's really about days 1 and 2 being just a little less interesting. Schools like Duke, they're the 1 seed. It's not that surprising. It's a blue blood. My whole thing is, will these other schools that are just kind of cobbling together rosters out of high school and then developing them, can they hold on to those guys long enough to where they can actually make a run in a March Madness?
I think within 2 years, like, their guys will be poached by other universities. Now it's up to the kids. I think you'll see that a lot often, instead of maybe going after, 2 or 3 freshmen, or you're going after, 5 freshmen coming in or whatever, they'll just go, they'll kind of adapt what, Alabama did, just go in and get somebody who's already seasoned, who understands the game, who's stronger and stuff or whatnot. So some of these smaller colleges, or some of these colleges that are good universities that have ball, I think we'll hear the horror stories of, well, this school is offering me this to leave, that school is, will it become a bidding war? Yeah, I think it will be. But I mean, again, that goes back to the NCAA has to put regulations on, or tighter regulations on certain things, where, that's not easily done.
And how much do you really like the NCAA handling?
They're not going to do a damn thing.
No, and like, it's just the last people you want to even be involved with your money anymore, for how many times they've dropped the ball on it. Like, the NCAA is, like, it has a purpose, but it's gotten so much shame over the past few years that, like, even if you figure out some sort of agreement, you're just not going to have a ton of faith that it's going to be the right solution with anything they propose, even if they have the best intentions. This one, Mississippi Mud Dog absolutely hates Creighton. Don't blame me there. He says he thinks they don't have football, they can put more of their energy / resources into just basketball, that they will take off more and more. I mean, likely. That's a school that's got, I shouldn't say, they only spend money on basketball. That's clearly their bread and butter is the men's basketball program. And we'll see how that looks like. The tough part is like, I just don't know what Nebraska spends compared to everybody else. I think they're probably on the lower tier of the Big Ten. And this is me speaking with zero facts and knowledge. I have no idea. But just based on the players that we seem to bring in and knowing what we need, like, very clearly we needed a guy like Chucky Hepburn. I would imagine they tried to go and get him. I'm just assuming they didn't have enough money, or Chucky. I mean, he's made it.
I think when it comes to Nebraska, I don't think necessarily money is the issue. I think it's necessarily the history and kind of like what have you kind of done for me now?
It certainly hurts you a lot. Like, you're going to be if you don't have the money, then yeah, you're really screwed. Because to your point, you don't have the Duke background or the Syracuse background. Like, there's no history there to sell.
So it's one, like, okay, well, if I do come there and, the situation necessarily isn't right to where, and this is just me hypothetically thinking like, well, maybe that is not the best move to, help my stock, because I don't know how the NBA looks at it, but I know with the NFL and the draft and the combine and everything like that, like, yeah, you can play and whatnot, but if you're on a losing team and you're not necessarily like guaranteed first round draft pick and everything like that, for instance, Jamar Chase, he sat out a whole year of football and still went top 5. You knew exactly what it was there, and that following year after Burrow and all of them left, LSU sucked.
Yeah.
So typically,
they bring in Bo Pelini after that. Was that the Bo Pelini run? He came in as defensive coordinator for a little bit, and it went awful. It just went woefully wrong.
But that wasn't Pelini's fault. Like he lost a lot of guys to the NFL. Like
they also tried to install a new defense. There was a lot going on there. That was
you had young guys. You had dudes that didn't necessarily know how to play with things or whatnot. Like it was a year after a national championship, so expectations or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like that's not on Bo. That's just business. But
a little bit's on Bo. I love Bo Pelini, but I put a little bit on.
We're not here to shame Bo. You getting off the topic, so I'm not going to let you do that. I don't think that was necessarily Bo's issue. Like I said, you lost a lot the year before. Yeah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they could have been, well, we still national champions. You don't know that situation down there, so I'm not putting it all on Bo.
They have won a championship since, so still haven't fixed it.
Again, so their defense hasn't necessarily been anything like how it was either. So, but like with the NFL, like if you're on a losing team and everything like that, they think of you differently as not necessarily a good player or not a game changer and everything like that. So I don't know if it's that same way with basketball. So with that being said, with Nebraska, they're inconsistent. I don't really know if they play in, too many primetime games. You don't hear about them getting talked about in the basketball limelight of things. Who have they necessarily, sent to the league that's like, and I don't mean this like in a bad way, that's like, done something, a superstar or, consistently, because, we've sent guys, not to say that we haven't, but
right now the best guy we got in there is Delano Bant was playing some pretty good ball. Bryce McGowan's.
So
I don't know where I get exactly what you're saying. So shout out to those guys that make it to the league, but they're not stars.
That can play into like, well, I don't think that'll be the best situation to help my stock staff to get me to where I need to be, and that's way that and all the money in the world necessarily isn't, or it's too much money to where okay, we're not going out of the way to do that necessarily for people and whatnot. So I think it's more so of the circumstances of just Nebraska basketball not being as consistent enough year in and year out to where people can walk in the building and say, okay, I can work with this, or I can overlook, a few things and whatnot. It's, the drop off is a little bit too much, and it's I don't necessarily want to stake my claim in that. So I'd rather go somewhere else that's a little bit more a little bit better consistently year in and year out. With Creighton, people expect, with Creighton, regardless how they season start, how many players they lose or whatever, you have an expectation, that Creighton is going to be a decent team regardless of what it is. And I mean, and typically they make the tournament. Some years they go further than not, but they know, people know what product they have out there. People know what you're going to be thrust into, and then again, draft stock wise, putting you on a better pedestal coming out for opportunities later on.
Yeah, maybe that's the best point too that I think we kind of left off the table too is yes, money matters, yes, history matters, but also like that identity. Like to your point, if you're going to play for Creighton, like if you're a good 3-point shooter, you might look at Creighton even a little bit more. If you're a freak athlete that's really good up and down the court in transition, you're gonna like if Alabama throws you an offer. If you're a defensive juggernaut who's got long wingspan, like you're gonna really like if Houston throws you an offer. So there's definitely that, and that I think that is probably a problem for Nebraska. Like if we're gonna wrap this all up in a nice bundle, the one I don't know about is NIL. Let's just assume for example here that we're bottom third of the Big Ten. If I had to take a swing at it, that's where I'd guess. Okay, so you don't have that going for you. Let's talk about history. Okay, now we're 0 for 2. Identity. What's Nebraska basketball's identity? Do we even know what that is?
And then what have you done? What have you done lately consistently? Like, it's been up and down. So it's like,
so you're 0 for 3 on trying to sell a player to come to Nebraska. And maybe that's part of the woes that Nebraska's had in getting, guys out of the portal and even just our in-state recruits. Like, we really whiff on a lot of in-state recruits as well. And I get guys like a Hunter Salas is going to be hard to keep within your own borders, but like, we're batting 0 for 100, it feels like, on some of these big in-state names.
Like I said, again, and I mean, I know Hunter personally. It's his father and I are in the same fraternity. So again, it was more so about fit. And okay, what it's not necessarily about right now. It's future purposes. At that point in time, when he went to Gonzaga, Gonzaga was putting people in the league left and right, first round draft picks, winning national championships, going deep into the playoffs. They wasn't necessarily worried about too much playing time early on, but just getting into school, getting in the program, understanding, and kind of each year improving to where if you wanted to go out, whatever year was best was fine and dandy. He transferred to Wake Forest, and look at what he's doing with things right now. So I just think that's it. I don't think money is an issue. Nebraska has that regardless. If any sport of anything, I think it would be situated. But the one thing that we necessarily don't, especially with basketball, is just the consistency year in and year out of this is who we're going to be, this is who we're going to be on paper, this is who we're going to be in the Big Ten, and it's not enough for what they've been doing or what the coach has been doing these last 3 years. It's not enough to sway some of these better top prospects to stay home enough and venture out and be more a part of that. And I think that's more of the issue, more so than the money.
Well said. And we'll talk about some more recruiting in-state kids in particular. We'll talk about Cale Jacobson a little bit, in particular with last night's game versus Georgetown. He had a big moment in that one. One of those in-state kids that, again, if you're in Nebraska, if some of the things we said were 0 for 2, 0 for 3 on those key points on when you're trying to buy recruits, one thing you can do is find those, diamond in the rough, whatever you want to call it, those in-state kids that aren't highly recruited, but they're still on your radar, and we'll see what he can become. We'll talk about Cale Jacobson and Nebraska's win over Georgetown in the college basketball crown up next. Don't go anywhere. Don't punt the hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arns.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Go Hog Wild Pet Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. DeMornay Pierson-El streaming in as always. You guys can join in via the Starter Heyman text line or any of the streams via that's Facebook, YouTube, X, or Allo Channel 961. All right, DeMornay Pierson-El. Let's talk about Nebraska basketball's win over Georgetown. The Hoyas last night. They win at 81-69. Before we dive into the details, just overall thoughts. Nebraska staying alive in the college basketball crown, making it to the semifinals.
A win is a win. You know, they fought hard. They handled business regardless of what the box score says for, you know, multiple people and whatnot. So they done it again, you know, one game away from 20. So I'll be positive.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're going to potentially end this year on 20 wins or even 21 wins. Feels like there's a lot of pain within those 20 somehow. it's been a rough road to the 20, but that's why you got to shout out to the guys on the roster. I mean, there's been plenty of opportunities to go ahead and hang your hat and just be like, screw this season of hell. But they've persevered through. And like, if they can get to 20 wins, that's a good season. A lot of pain in it, like I said, but that's a good season, especially.
Two seasons back to back. Again, that I feel like that gives you, bargaining chips. It's like, you consistency, at least within the past 2 years. Like, hey, regardless, I know we didn't go to the tournament this year, but I mean, in the last 3 years, we got 20 wins, and at least one tournament bid. With you coming here, we could possibly add to that. That'd be one heck of a pitch.
Yeah, and to do our points earlier, right? Like, how much history continuity does this place have? Not a lot. So again, you just rack up 20. I don't care what the 20 looks like. Like, you got it. Wins. More wins.
It's kind of one of those things where you check the box, with talking to people or people around in the sports world and everything like that. It's one of those things that you have to take account for it.
Mm-hmm. Puts Hoiberg closer to being 500 here in Nebraska. I think he's still like 20 plus games away. It's not as much as I thought. But again, it's been impressive for these guys. Leading scorers in this one. Can you guess who the leading scorer was for Nebraska?
Bryce.
Yeah, of course it was Bryce Williams. It's always Bryce Williams. He was leading scorer. 37 minutes. He was 8 for 14, shot above 50%, 5 of 9 from the 3-point line, shot over 50% from there as well. 100% from the free throw line, a clean 7 for 7. He gives you 3 rebounds, 3 assists for a whopping total of 28 points and a steal as well. That guy's just so good. I mean, let's see. What did he have in that first game? He had 30. So yeah, the dude's the best around. He's already got himself 58 points in 2 games.
Again, I mean, he's adding draft. It's more film of what he can do, and I understand it may not be the tournament or whatnot, but he's been playing this consistent all year. The coaches voted him first team. The media voted him first team. So again, his stock, he's just adding to it.
Yeah, he might mess around and be a late first rounder. If he has another big game
with his size and his ability, he's a two-way defender. He's shown consistently this year. I feel like he's shown better three-point. His three-point percentage has been better. The way that the NBA is going, it makes a strong push for it. I wouldn't be shocked for a right team situation, like, oh, we need a kind of guy like that we can build or add to that late first round.
Yeah, and this is actually, I'm not sure what it was after his last game, because he shot, I don't think it moved enough at all. This is actually one of his worst years shooting the 3-ball too.
Really?
Which surprised him. Yeah, not by much, but he's pretty close to 40% through his career. Let me pull it up.
What position would you put him at the next level? Like, what are they going to, what is he going to do? Is he going to be a 3? Is he going to be a 2? Is he going to be a 1? Like, I mean, of course, I think he's going to have to wear multiple hats for sure. But which place would benefit him better?
Real quick, just so we get out, he is a career 38% 3-point shooter. So he is nice from outside, and this is his worst year at 36. Otherwise, the year before he was 38. The year before that, he was 39.
So it's somewhat consistent. It's like right then and there.
Yeah, and then the year before that, it was 42%. So and then 2019, 2020 was his worst year at just 30. But again, not a whole lot of minutes played that season. Yeah, only 9 minutes. So there you go. But yeah, he's pretty consistent. Nice around that 40% mark on a really good year, just short 36 on a bad year. If 6'7", he's got the wingspan. I think matchup wise, there's gonna be times where you can put him in at a 3. Certain times you don't want him anywhere near that. Yeah. He's not strong enough for some of those 3s out there in the NBA. But he could be a solid 2. I mean, he's got a lot more playmaking under his belt this year, as hasn't always been fun by him having to take over that role, but he's definitely gotten much better in terms of, I don't want to say all playmaking. I think last step for him is become a better passer yet. He makes the pretty obvious passes. He doesn't you don't see him do too many crazy stuff, skips or finding like really tough dimes. I think he's probably just a score first 2 right now in the NBA. I don't know what teams will be looking for that late in the first round. But he's just going to – defense has enough. I'd say this. He right now he can be a two-way player, a good two-way player, depending on the matchup. I think those are his strengths.
For sure.
What team would you want to see him on? I should look at the mock draft, too, to see if there's late teams in the first round that would maybe take a swing.
Not obvious. Like I said, I think what he brings to the table and kind of what they have in Houston with just building with young guys, I think with him getting with that coach down there, I think would be good for him. I mean, Denver wouldn't be a terrible team either. I mean, you playing around Joker and Aaron Gordon and all of that. Like, you know, he's a smaller, less athletic Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is, you know, more of a high flyer type situation, but you know, he can slash, he can get you a bucket. That wouldn't be I don't think would be a bad team.
I'll throw you some teams that are likely going to be at the end there. Boston's got it's a couple picks late, 26 and 27.
I think he could fit what Boston does. Like, Boston's not looking for another star. You know what I'm saying? Like, a high energy role player that can play both ways. Like, I think Boston wouldn't be a bad fit.
Brooklyn, not Boston, Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn, sorry.
They're pretty in need, so I can definitely see.
They kind of went home
on it. Atlanta, Trae Young. You get Bryce Williams with him. Because one thing about a guard like Trae Young
late in the first.
Your 2 needs to be good at defense.
Not late in the first.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he'd fall. All the other teams are pretty well set.
Just because like Atlanta needs to kind of sell tickets, and like Trae is doing fine, and I'm not saying that Bryce can't or anything like that, but you need a splashy type pick to kind of bring people into the bring people into the arena. So I just think with that, I mean, he kind of might get overlooked. Do I think he could do it and everything like that? Absolutely. Excuse me.
Yeah, I just thought we'd go out there.
Where's Detroit at? I like Detroit. I like what they're doing in Detroit.
Probably pretty damn high. They are. There's no way they don't have any first rounders. According to this,
I think the culture and the
37 is the first time I see him up here.
I think the culture and the people with the Knicks, just the people that they have on their roster, their journey in the NBA and everything like that. I think Bryce's story fits well along with that. Kind of how he came onto the season last year, late. I think he does that early and often with like a Knicks type of team to kind of show his value to stuff and to get more tick. And I'm not trying to pick like all the good teams. I'm just saying, like, you know, player to where he won't have if he goes like somewhere like with the Knicks, he won't have to be a dominant scorer. It'll be more so energy on defense, transition type points, you know, a secondary to third, you know, get your points here and there, but, you know, we don't necessarily need you. We don't need you to get 30. We know you can get it, you know, but when the ball does get to you and you get your shots, you know, knock down your shots. When you do have those matchups, you know, win your matchups and everything like that.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be a fun guy to watch. He's going to be another guy where you can put some hopes on him, potentially having a really good NBA career. Because we mentioned earlier, I can't remember where Isaiah Roby's at. He's still hanging around. But guys like Delano Banton, Bryce McGowan, we can get more in there. Then we could start turning that identity of Nebraska, and you get some of the more trust from the high school recruits if you can actually send guys out into the league. So hopefully, you know, we'll see. But Bryce Williams, he's still got some more college basketball before we get there. About a minute left here. A little more on Nebraska basketball. Shout out Andrew Morgan. Good game for him. He wasn't, you know, taking a ton of shots. He wasn't in there for a ton of minutes, 20 minutes, but he was 4 for 5. Effective offense. He gives you 12 points and 9 rebounds. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I've ever wanted from any of these guys. Good game by Morgan. 12 points, 9 rebounds. did enough on the glass, did enough on offense. Like that's all to me.
That's
That's all
showing up.
want.
That's showing that's you doing your part. That's you doing your part. It's not anything too flashy. It's not anything too crazy. It's not anything outside of your wheelhouse. You showing up consistently, and he's a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken, correct? I think so.
No, Andrew Morgan's gone.
Who am I thinking of? That's a sophomore. The big guy, I think, is a sophomore.
Braxton and Andrew Morgan are both guy. Maybe you're thinking of Gavin Griffiths. Goggles.
Nah, I'm thinking of Barry Euchtenberg. I'm thinking of
Barry Euchtenberg.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. I got them too confused. But again, I mean, you roles like that. It's not anything too crazy, but it helps you pat the league. It helps you stay, treading water and above water. That's what you need consistently from people on the bench and your starters. Bad showing for Connor. 14 minutes and 7 points. I know you were off, but my goodness, like something's got to give.
Yeah, and then Aaron Eulis, good for him. He gets in there. We haven't seen much of Aaron Eulis all year, but he got in for this game for the same thing, about 14 minutes. But he was 3 for 4 effective, and he gives you 6 points. Only problem for him was a couple of turnovers as well. He's got to clean that up a little bit. But otherwise, this was a game where you at least just got enough scoring spread around.
Yeah.
Because, you only get 2 points from Burke, but at least he gives you 6 rebounds.
I mean, that's
no assist. It wasn't his best
okay.
game.
I don't care. You 7'10", 6 rebounds. Like, I'm expecting you to at least have 10 rebounds, period. 10 rebounds, 5 blocks. You know what I'm saying? If you're not dominant or at least putting up 10 points, there's other ways that you got to show up.
I thought he had more.
That's inexcusable. That's unacceptable. I don't care.
Just trying to toss him a few bones. But
I'm not.
It's like he's catching the worst ones all the time. Juwan Gary, 17 points. Cale Jacobson, like I said, 7 points. I'll take it. And then Bryce, 28. You get 12 from Andrew Morgan. You get 7 from Connor Season. Like I said, 6 from you. It's like that's just everybody pitching in. Even though, we're not happy. You're not happy with Burke or Sam Hoiberg was pretty rough night for him. He was 1 for 6. But
it's an off night, but he's typically, like he is what he is. I'm not worried about that. But you 7'10", like I expect 10 rebounds. I don't care. And 5 blocks. Don't care.
Yeah, he's just got to figure out his role on this team yet. And I think that's, you've mentioned it. He's a sophomore, Burke Bear-Youth-and-Dell, so he's going to have a lot of time to figure it out. He's still young enough. That's the hope is, I think for him, it's just figuring out your offense because he seems good when that first one goes in. But until he sees that first one go in, it looks like he's just looking for a shot. And then it leads to some nights where in this one, 0 for 2, but he only played 20 minutes. We've seen it when he's out there for 35 minutes and it's,
20 minutes and 2 points. That is terrible.
Well, hopefully it's not so bad the next game. We'll see what happens here. It's also been interesting with this tournament because Coach Hoiberg's had opportunities to give other guys minutes like Cale Jacobson. And you see Burke's numbers go down because they're playing a lot more small ball. That not quite a replacement, but you got Cale Jacobson coming in there replacing a guy like Burke Bear-Youth-and-Dell, and he's got to do a lot.
You're supposed to be dominating, dunking on people's head, swatting it off the backboard. I'm just, come on now. We gotta create some energy.
Well, he's got potentially 2 more games to do that. We'll talk about that up next. More on college basketball. Crown Husker Hoops. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arns. Talk to you in a bit.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and my schedule can get a little hectic. From softball practices to going to class, traveling for games, spending time with family, and catching up with friends, I am always on the go. I want a bank that can help me from anywhere, but also be there when I need them. That's Midwest Bank. They have the same mobile banking technology as those big banks, but have that hometown feel that I like every time I walk through the doors. They make banking easy no matter where I am. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies with light winds. An afternoon high around 59. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise mainly cloudy, low around 42. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. An afternoon high near 55. Meteorologist Kyle Butler from 3.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Early break. Sort of interesting that we could all learn from. He doesn't look at himself just as a running back, he said. I look at myself as a weapon. You should follow suit. I'm not just a radio host, I'm a weapon.
Noted.
We're weapons.
Weapons.
Yes. Weapons of destruction.
With Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. The final segment, Don't Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El. Harrison on the ones and twos. Talk a lot of college hoops. I think we've talked pretty much college hoops the entire hour so far. From the text line here, I think it's worth mentioning because we were talking about Berkay Berryutengel, and I think it's fair to say on what has been, I think, a disappointing season for fans. But to unknown texter's point, he's wondering if Berkay Berryutengel has been playing hurt because he has not been right since the last injury. And when he got hurt early in the season, he came back fine, but he's just been off ever since he came back from that last injury. There could be some truth to that because really, since he didn't make that trip out, it would have been the Washington and what else they play on that trip? I can't remember if it was Washington, USC, but he missed out on a trip essentially. And when he did come back, man, now I'm blanking on which game he came back from. Maybe he came back in the Washington game. DeMarre Pierson, you know the injury stretch I'm talking about, though, right? What game was it?
Was it Penn State?
Yeah, Penn State. Thank you. It was that one where they had Penn State and they had Washington, right? And then he came back at one of those. Might have been at home even, but he hasn't been right since then. And some of his early season production was promising.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't necessarily on the offense, but defensively is where I think people really liked his value, and he was doing okay on the rebounds. And maybe that's it.
Maybe.
Hopefully it's just an injury, because an injury just takes time, and more about to have a lot of time for those guys, and he is only a sophomore. So, you know, I should say hopefully it's an injury, but hopefully it's
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think it might be easier to fix than confidence at that point. So I'm not sure which one's true for him, but he like I said, not a great game for him, but he's going to have an opportunity at one more versus Boise State and another one after that if they win it. Some of the other performers we already went through. Bryce Williams played phenomenal. They beat Georgetown, but their next opponent, they got Boise State coming down the road. I think Boise State's got pretty much the exact same record we do.
I thought they were 26. I thought they were 26-10.
Oh, are they that much better?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken.
26-10. Yeah, they win a lot of ball games.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not scared. Let's look at some of their stats here. Yeah, they blew out. Well, they didn't blow out. They offense played really well though. They beat the Butler Bulldogs. Leading score, they're pretty spread out. They got 21, 14, 19, 27 off the bench. Okay, so this is the team kind of the opposite of Nebraska. They got offense coming from just about everywhere. And 27 off the bench is nice. And that was
it's one of those games you're gonna have to slow them down and kind of enforce things and whatnot. Bring them down to your level of ball, but you're gonna have to have everybody step up, because I mean this team can get hot. They won a lot of games for a reason.
Yeah, and their leading scorer, they got Tyson Dagenhart. He's averaging about 18 points a game, shooting over 52% on the season. They just look like a really balanced team here.
Yeah.
And again, 26 wins, nothing to scoff
that ain't
at
easy.
there.
That ain't nothing. That's not anything to push over. You're gonna have to bring your lunch pail to deal with them.
Who do you think's favored in this one?
I still would say us.
Yeah, ESPN's got us. Not by much though. This one's a lot closer. 1.5 favorites favoring Nebraska.
You got 26 wins, and you wasn't in March Madness. Something's up. I don't know for what reason. Or you got 25 wins, or 23 wins, and you didn't make it. For what reason? So they're definitely beatable regardless of the record and whatnot. It's just we have to show up and play consistent.
Yeah, I'm looking at 26 wins. I'm trying to figure out how in the world you guys not make it. But you look at their schedule, it's not overly impressive. Anytime they did seem to run into a pretty decent squad.
Team.
Yeah, I mean they did beat New Mexico. I could say that's a big win for them. Boy, there's not a lot though. They beat New Mexico twice.
He said, "Boy." Well, that's not good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't throw them. They have some games where they're really consistent, so you don't want to scoff at them. And they did beat Clemson. But we saw Clemson round one. It would be a much different story if Clemson didn't poop their pants on day one of the tournament. But I think Clemson not only lost, they lost by a good margin, didn't they?
Yeah, they got blown. Yeah.
Or no, did they play
McNeese, but it was a competitive game.
Yeah, but they almost got blown out, which was the funny part. They were getting blown out like crazy in the first half. That's what it was. And then Clemson clawed all the way back just to lose in a painful, brilliant way. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. That's a little bit of a recap on Boise State. Like I said, they are 26-10 on the season. But if Nebraska wins tomorrow, or actually, no, that one's not tomorrow. I think that one's Saturday. If they can win on that day, then they will make it to 20 wins themselves. And I think we both agreed that's, considering everything that's happened, that's not a bad year for Hoiberg and company and the Nebraska basketball squad. That's going to do it for us. DeMarre Pierson-El, appreciate the time. As always, we will do it again on a Monday night.